What's up, everybody? Destroyer here. Welcome back to another cast of The Lord of the Rings, The Battle for Middle-earth 2, patch 1.08. Today we have a 1v1 on Fords of Isen II, which is a Goblin Mirror, which hopefully is interesting. It says it was, so let's hope. We have our first player, ArCh4Ng3L, which is a very good player, of course, from BFME 2, and he is also known as Otto. He played Red Witch King also, under that alias, I believe. But he is Goblins in the bottom right. His opponent is All Might, which is Goblins as well. I know nothing about All Might, but I would assume he's pretty good also. So, we have a Goblin Mirror, obviously, on Fords of Isen II. And from the replay description, it sounds like it was interesting, so figured I'd give it a cast. Normally I wouldn't do like a... I wouldn't really look for a mirror, per se, but sometimes they're interesting. Sometimes it's cool to see how you win in a mirror as well, especially with the good players, what they do differently than each other and stuff. So we'll see. Goblins, of course, in this patch are 75, so that is a fairly reasonable price, of course, for a goblin, or 325 for archers, if you so desires for archers. Looks like All Might is going for a second goblin cave there, and as is ArCh4Ng3L. So they should both give plenty of spam in no time. We have a tunnel for ArCh4Ng3L there. It's hard for me to see the yellow on the minimap a little bit. Not too bad though. Unless they build here. I believe you can't actually see anything that you that's on the bottom of the minimap of Fords of Isen II, if I'm not mistaken. But that could be just patch 2.02, I'm not sure. And looks like they're going to clash here in the center. Obviously both using poison blades, as you should. If you're always goblins, anytime you're goblins, you should always be using poison blades. And it looks like ArCh4Ng3L's actually won out there, and they managed to get to level 2. All Might's left with one single goblin warrior. So these ones will continue raiding, or at least keeping the forces of All Might occupied. Because of course you can't just leave them wandering about willy-nilly, can you? And it looks like we have a fissure being thrown by All Might. Interesting. And also a fissure being thrown by ArCh4Ng3L. Very interesting. My guess would be possibly trolls or half-troll marauders. Trolls would be great against goblin warriors, as you would expect. Incredibly good, in fact. But also, half-troll marauders is very strong for destroying buildings, so I guess either one would be good. I'm not sure which is a more viable tactic in oh, they seem that they start with cave trolls unlocked in patch 1.08. Interesting. So that is very similar to patch 1.06, I believe, where you start with cave trolls at level 1. So I'm pretty sure back in the day in patch 1.00 you had start with half-troll marauders as a starting unit there. But also they could go for the half-troll marauders, which looks like what we're going to do to creep, as I was going to say. Creep these troll layers as well, get the gold. It looks like ArCh4Ng3L's going for an attack here on All Might with throwing down the Tainted Land. It looks like Cave Bats was what All Might chose, weakening the attack and defense here of the goblins of ArCh4Ng3L. And he's actually opted to go for a troll, which is probably a very good thing indeed. It's going to be very difficult for anything to deal with this troll until he gets his, of course, half-troll marauders out here, which he is doing so. Very nice indeed. ArCh4Ng3L's doing a good job of swarming him around, though. Keeping his opponent busy, which is really what you want to do. If you're a spam faction, you really want to try and send as many guys in as many different directions towards as many farms as you can. And just keep your opponents nullified, basically. Oh shit, we have a cave troll, a systematics cave troll no less, with a stick. That should be pretty brutal. We do have half-troll marauders here as well, but they're, of course, fairly weak to the swordsmen of the goblins there. And they do get eaten up pretty easily, allowing these trolls to run rampant without any counter on the field. And I think these cave trolls will be a good addition to his army. It's just a matter of, will the half-troll marauders of ArCh4Ng3L be enough to deter them? I would say not with the amount of goblins that is being thrown at them, unfortunately for him. Because Goblin Warriors with the Poison Blades do a lot of damage. As you see there, they drain their life very rapidly. Even though they have a little bit of life and they are losing numbers very quickly, they still take a lot of damage off on those Half-Dwarf Marauders. And now it looks like All Might is sending a battalion here in the south. Potentially engage in hostile activities in Archangel's base. Gotta be careful of that rock throw, because you will hit your own goblins occasionally, or units in general. But the Half-Dwarf Marauders don't seem to be worth their weight in gold in this match right now, I would definitely say. The Goblin Warriors are doing a great job of just nullifying them pretty nicely. And of course, there is no Half-Troll Swordsman in the base game. You have to have Res Witch King for that, so that's not an option. There's Mountain Giants for 1100 with a level 3 fissure if they wanted that. Or alternatively, somebody could go for a Spider Pit and start running over some of these Goblin Warriors, which might not be a bad idea, I'm going to be honest. I think it might be a good call for one of them to do, but we'll see if that happens. I imagine it's not a cheap thing to do. And now Archangel is sending a little force to the south here. And judging by the mini-map, it looks like there's plenty of forces on the field for All Might now, who's got 3 Cave Trolls. Of course, you don't want to send the Cave Trolls up against those. He's trying to micro them out of there. They do alright against those, as long as they're not taking too much damage in return. They do have a knockback, though, which is very useful indeed, allowing the other units to clean them up. Let's get in there. Let's get in there! Sometimes it's just nice to zoom in, huh? And at a click of a button, I can zoom right back out. How nice. There is indeed an attack here on All Might's base. He's dropped his fissure, and he is going to take it down entirely. Very nice. It looks like there was Half-Dwarf Marauders being brought out for All Might as well. So definitely diversifying his army. Goblin Warriors, Half-Dwarf Marauders, and Cave Trolls. A very strong force indeed. And now he's going for a big attack on Archangel. The Trolls definitely bringing the siege power, knocking down those structures with ease. Will Archangel hold on, though? As a matter at hand, he does have some Spider Hole expansions, which are great for defense against melee units. Send out hordes of Spiderlings, and they do great damage, actually. They're quite effective. I think that'll keep his base safe for now, with the addition of his units on the field, but we'll see. And it does indeed look like All Might doesn't have the force quite to take his base down, but he's going to continue to raid his buildings. All Might definitely has control of the map as well, it looks like. At least he's got control of the north. He's got goblins all over the place as well. Otto does have some of the south here, so I'd say it's about fair, actually. But Otto does not have a lot of his territory, as where All Might does have a lot of his territory already taken there. Some of it. It's actually fairly even, I guess. Let's take a look at PowerPoints and stuff while we're at it. Archangel, this Goblin player, has Scavenger. Excellent, so he'll be getting money for kills, which is always good. You definitely want to go for Scavenger as a Goblin. Keeps you funded. Keeps you going. And of course you get Tainted Land, which is 50% armor, 3 PowerPoints, 225 of 500. And All Might is sitting at 456 of 750, so he does indeed have more farms. And he has gone for the Summon Wildman of Dunland, because he went down the Cave Bat path, and he's got 10 PowerPoints. So they definitely went down different trees there. It's interesting to see a Goblin go against a Goblin doing different things with their power tree. Most people will go, like, there's an optimal path, so they'll choose Scavenger and just keep going down that path. It's nice to see someone go a different path and then go into a mirror and see which is superior. Of course, you can't exactly judge by that. A lot of it comes down to player skill, a little bit of lag and delay in their macro and such. But, of course, definitely helps, especially late game when those big powers start really coming into play, like Balrog, Watcher, and stuff of that nature. And now All Might is bringing a pretty powerful force here through the south. I don't think Archangel quite has enough to defend against that, if I'm honest. With the addition of these, he might, actually. And Goblin Archers, I'm not entirely sure how good they are on patch 1.08. But they very well may be alright. Poison-tipped arrows that cause damage over time. Strong versus cavalry. Interesting. Interesting that you would use archers versus cavalry. I guess it makes a little bit of sense. And down goes Tainted Land. Tainted Land being overwritten by ArCh4Ng3L. So he has the upper hand here, and he will definitely hold his ground. And it looks like ArCh4Ng3L has indeed gone for trolls himself. Very cool. And he's also going for an attack of the back of the base here of All Might. Is that what it was? I just completely went brain dead there for a second. All Might. You know, he is continuing to take out some of his farms in the process. In the meantime, the trolls continue to wreak havoc. I love seeing trolls being used in Goblin Mirrors. They do what they're intended to do, and I like that. And we also have a Gorkill, the Goblin King, out here for All Might, who is level 3 already. Very nice indeed. He is dying fairly rapidly, though. And unfortunately, he does die. Ouch. Nice pickup there for ArCh4Ng3L, though. And of course, he does have the Scavenger, which benefits him in that as well. I didn't quite see exactly how much that was. He died and gave his enemy, but he did net him a little bit of coin. Both players are doing a decent job of spending their money as well. All Might sitting on a bit of coin, possibly saving for something. I'm not sure what. Maybe a hero, maybe upgrades. Or a dragon, even. Would he save for a dragon? Ooh. A Drogoth the Dragon Lord could prove very, very destructive against another Goblin player, as their archers are kind of shit. So, we'll see. And darkness has been indeed invoked upon the battlefield. Looks like buffing the troops of ArCh4Ng3L, as you see with their little sparkly effect. And that will definitely help him out here. Now his trolls are much tankier as well. Gorkill's already back on the field. Holy shit, that was quick. Is that where his money went? Well, hard to say. I can't exactly see what he's building hero-wise. But, maybe. Does he have Scavenger, though? ArCh4Ng3L, of course, does. He has Darkness as well. And we have Scavenger being purchased now for All Might as well. So he'll be able to keep up in the economy front as well as his opponent is. Well, in theory. Of course, that's assuming he's killing things and not just being slaughtered. But I would imagine he'll be killing things there. Ooh, looks like a builder was got there. All Might did indeed lose one of his builders, which you never want to happen, but it does happen. Gorkill's leadership in patch 1.8 is 25% armor and 25% more experience. I don't think the experience thing is too important for Goblin Warriors, but the armor's nice. And I guess anything leveling up is nice, so why not, I guess. But they do tend to die off before they that makes any effect. And it looks like we have Forged Blades being purchased and equipped onto Goblin Warriors here for All Might. So he's opted to go for upgraded warriors to carve through his enemy. Whether that's a good choice or not will remain to be seen. He does have archer support as well, which is very good indeed. He's also thrown down Gorkill's Totem, which I believe is a leadership buffing thing in its own right. Where is Gorkill anyway? I'm unsure. I'm trying to find him on the minimap, but I don't see him. Oh, there he is. Somewhere around there. There he is, the bastard. Reveals nearby shroud, takes enemy and provides 50% armor bonus to nearby allies. That's actually better than his regular leadership, so it's actually pretty good. 50% bonus armor is not bad. I don't think that stacks with his totem, or his leadership, rather, but I'm unsure. And here we go. We have a army very similar to each other going at it, but one of them, of course, has Forged Blades and a lot of archer support, as where one does not. So I think ArCh4Ng3L's army will be killed off here. But, of course, another builder does fall from All Might. ArCh4Ng3L is doing a good job of picking up those builders and slaughtering them. Putting them into the spear. The half-troll spear, that is. Oof. And look at this. That is nasty. That's a lot of threes. Not a good day to be a goblin archer, is it? They are getting brutalized in every sense of the word. Jesus. And the troll will make his escape unless half-troll marauders are actually faster than cave trolls. They are faster than cave trolls. Look at that. They're catching on him. Interesting. Well, that's a thing. And that troll does fall. Not before taking a lot of goblin orchard lives, though. At the very least. GoreKill is still wreaking havoc down here. He could also mount his Scorpion if he so desired to. Looks like he's opting not to do that. If he did, though, and the enemy had a hero, then he could indeed use a Poison Stinger to poison that hero and such. Does good damage. I think GoreKill should really get out of here. I think he's just leaving him to die at this point. Kill as many as he can. No? Guess not. Can GoreKill outrun Goblin Warriors? That's a good question. Wildman has been summoned in. He's trying to save GoreKill. I think it's not going to be enough, though. GoreKill does fall. He nets him 561 resources to ArCh4Ng3L there. And it looks, if you look at the mini-map, it looks like All Might is very much in control of the map. And he's also got his upgrades on. He's even given Goblin Warriors armor upgrades, which is madness. Some would argue not worth their weight in gold. But, because it is 250 for that, 250 for that. It's 500 upgrades on Goblin Warriors, which is crazy. But it does make them better, obviously. But they're still very fragile units. I think it might pay off, though, as he is destroying the base of ArCh4Ng3L quite nicely. ArCh4Ng3L smartly, though, saving up for a Drogoth. And that is going to shut down this army, I have no doubt. Is it going to be in time to save his fortress, though? There's a lot of damage going down on the fortress of ArCh4Ng3L here. And the whole entire base of ArCh4Ng3L is taking a beating. Even if he does live, he might be behind. I hope All Might is building more forces in the meantime. And most of them being archers, he needs to bring on this dragon immediately. Or get his dragon of his own if he's going to compete with this. Because unfortunately, those upgrades mean nothing compared to Drogoth. Oh no, and it looks like he will not get the fortress. That is a major bummer for All Might. Although he could continue assaulting the base, if he so desired, before it rebuilt. Send waves and waves, try and get a troll over there maybe. To either throw some rocks at it or get a giant. Of course, the giant's countered pretty nicely by Drogoth, but Drogoth can't kill everything at once. And I think this was possibly a life-saving decision for ArCh4Ng3L. Of course, it could have been the reason he is in this situation to begin with, because he was saving up for a dragon. But we'll see. And ArCh4Ng3L indeed has a Balrog. Oh, that's brutal. Balrog shutting down a lot of the base of All Might with a breath of fire. If he can shut his opponent down, he could overwhelm his opponent without even any resistance there, because he won't be able to build troops. And if you can get rid of this, there will be no more upgrades, which would be a very, very helpful thing indeed for ArCh4Ng3L. And it looks like he's indeed going to take that down. All Might is going for a little attack here. The fort's still not down, and Drogoth's still on the field. I think the game has just rapidly swung into ArCh4Ng3L's favor now, after that quickly. So, I think things are looking bad for All Might. All Might's very close to his own level 25 point power. But without any troops on the field now, it's going to be difficult for him to get any power points. He needs more goblin tunnels. He needs stuff on the field doing combat if he's going to get those power points. ArCh4Ng3L finishing off the building rubble there. Stopping anything from being built, of course. There will be no building in Balrog's realm. And this is definitely left All Might completely open to attack. There's very little in All Might's base. He does have an armor upgrade on his fort, but other than that, he doesn't really have anything. Looks like a tunnel is being rebuilt here by ArCh4Ng3L. I thought that was a green on the mini-map there for a second. Luckily, he saved his fort. A very close call. And I think this is going to be possibly the nail in the coffin for the player All Might. He's not out yet, though. He might make a comeback. But it's going to be tough while being under siege by ArCh4Ng3L, I think. Definitely going to be a difficult situation. He needs to get those Goblin Caves up and running ASAP. And unfortunately, there's already Goblin Warriors in his base trying to stop that from happening. And of course, buildings in 1.08 aren't exactly tanky, so they do go down fairly quick. Something you have to be very aware of. And a little bit of damage is being done to the Fortress of All Mights. His fissure is rebuilding, though, which is good for him, I suppose. Of course, that won't do anything to Drogoth. Drogoth's still on the field. He is level 4 now. Wing Blast is pretty effective against Goblin Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. It actually will kill them, I believe. Pretty easily. Which is pretty brutal for any Goblin player to experience on the defensive end. Looks like the Fortress ArCh4Ng3L is now rebuilding, unfortunately for All Mights. Potentially with it, the hopes of victory. But we'll see. He does indeed have 2 Goblin Caves up now and a fissure, so he could potentially come back into this match. Let's take a look at things here. ArCh4Ng3L has 450, a 650. Looks like he's just used Darkness as well, and he almost has a 25 point power again. He has Darkness, so he has the middle. He can go for Dragon as well. That's where we don't have a 25 point power at all for All Might, who's at 496 at 525. So he is behind in the economy front. At least he's starting to get power points now. He does have a Watcher here. I'm not sure how much damage the Watcher would do to a building, but potentially he could use it on the fort. Maybe. But I don't actually know how good it is. I know they do fairly decent damage to structures, but I don't know about the fortress itself. Nice fireball there, though, from the Drogoth. At level 6, of course, he gets Fire Flight, which is very, very brutal. A very effective power indeed. So really, all ArCh4Ng3L needs to do is send a finishing force off over here. I'd suggest getting some trolls, personally. I think that would be a great addition to ArCh4Ng3L's army, but he doesn't need it, per se. But I think either some half trolls or trolls would be great for taking down this fortress. But I'm sure he knows what he's doing better than I do. So I won't question too much what he's doing. Maybe he's toying with his prey. Of course he's not, though. He's getting ready for the final assaults. And there it is. The fire flight's very nice. He's actually probably going to lose Drogoth here. Oh, very close. Got him out of there in time, though. Oh, an explosion of ones, plus ones. The Watcher has destroyed an army from goblins. Very nice indeed. It may seem like it netted him a lot of money, but it probably didn't. It's just a bunch of ones. Might have only been like 200 resources, maybe. If that. Which isn't really that great if you think about it. Some Wildman summon over here from All Mights. The fortress is almost back up to half health here from ArCh4Ng3L, though. And he still has, of course, these goblin, what are they called? Spider hole expansions to keep his building safe. Of course, he placed him in the back to keep his buildings in the back safe here. So if a goblin was going to attack here, these would come out here and attack this. But they also kind of protect the fort all around. Just not as far in the front as you would want. Unless you put it in the front. Wildman with torch upgrades. It looks like ArCh4Ng3L has employed the use of Wildman from the inn there. The torch upgrades, they do massive amount of damage to buildings. Troll is still wrecking them, but definitely got rid of the fissure there. And a nice addition to the army of ArCh4Ng3L. And there we go. We have a Balrog from All Might. Ooh, fire whipping that Drogoth down very quickly. Oh my. Is Balrog going to take down the fortress of ArCh4Ng3L? That would be incredible. Ooh, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I don't think Balrog is going to be enough, and he doesn't have a supporting army to send anything else to finish it off. He'll still have a few buildings here, and he has a builder as well. Maybe even multiples. Oh god. I think Balrog could potentially take this fortress out. It looks like it's rebuilding still. There's indeed a little builder there. Working hard to keep this place alive. I thought it stopped rebuilding after you started attacking it. And the dragon has been summoned by Archangel to destroy his own buildings. What? Oh, but Archangel's going for the kill here. It's a base race of sorts. Looks like Balrog does indeed destroy the fortress of Archangel there. I think he's going to despawn before getting rid of everything else, though. And Archangel, of course, bringing down the fort here. And I don't think that All Might has anything else on the map. I don't see anything else. Balrog despawns. Archangel lives with a few buildings there. And I think this game is about over. With Archangel definitely going to be the victor here with his Royalman with torch upgrades. Once they get there, this place will be toast. And of course, he also has Goblins with blades upgrades. And tainted land around it. And there it goes. Fortress All Might has fallen, and Archangel is the victor there. Very nice. That was a good 1v1 Goblin Mirror, definitely. The replay did not lie. Said a lot of different tactics were employed against each other, which is cool. So it's definitely nice to see something different, like not the same old boring kind of Goblin Mirror. Everyone's sending goblins at each other. Obviously, there's still a bit of that, a lot of that, in fact. But it's nice to see the other things as well being employed, like Wildmen, Trolls, Drogoth, stuff like that. Very cool indeed. But yeah, well played to both those players. I hope you guys enjoyed that cast of 1.08, and I will see you guys next time.